Good morning, everyone. I want to start today by asking you to imagine a vault. Inside this vault is the entire digital foundation of our modern world. It holds your banking credentials, state secrets, intellectual property, and your private medical records. Currently, this vault is locked by a mathematical problem that is so difficult that if you tasked all the supercomputers on Earth to solve it, the sun would likely burn out before they found the key. We feel safe. We call this public key cryptography, specifically algorithms like RSA and elliptic curve cryptography, ECC. But there's a storm coming. A new type of machine is being built, the quantum computer. Now, don't mistake a quantum computer for just a faster supercomputer. A classical supercomputer is like a librarian reading every book in a library one by one to find a specific page. A quantum computer? It's like a ghost that can read every book in the library simultaneously. When this technology matures, that mathematical lock on our vault won't take billions of years to break. It might take hours. This hypothetical event is what experts call Q-Day, the day quantum computers render our current encryption obsolete. Today, we're going to explore the shield we are building against this weapon. We're going to talk about quantum-safe cryptography, also known as Post-Quantum Cryptography, PQC. Before we look at the solution, we must understand the specific vulnerability. Most of our internet security today relies on factorization. If I give you the number 15, you can easily tell me its factors are 3 and 5. But if I give you a number that is 600 digits long, finding the two prime numbers that created it is functionally impossible for a classical computer. Enter Shor's algorithm. Discovered by mathematician Peter Shor in 1994, this algorithm proved that a quantum computer could factor these massive numbers exponentially faster than a classical computer. Here is the first analogy I want you to remember: the maze. Think of current encryption as a giant maze. Classical computer. It walks down one path, hits a dead end, turns back, and tries another. It implies trial and error. Quantum computer. It uses the properties of quantum mechanics, superposition, and entanglement to effectively flood the maze with water. The water finds the exit immediately, exploring all paths at once. You might ask, a powerful quantum computer doesn't exist yet. Why worry now? This brings us to the most chilling concept in cybersecurity. Harvest now, decrypt later, HNDL. Hackers and nation-states are currently scraping encrypted data they cannot read yet. They are storing it on massive servers. They are harvesting your data now, waiting for the day they have a quantum computer to decrypt it later. If you're sending data today that needs to remain secret for 25 years, like genetic data, national intelligence, or long-term infrastructure designs, that data is already compromised if we don't act. So how we fight back? Do we need quantum computers to fight quantum computers? No. And this is a common misconception. Quantum-safe cryptography, PQC, is software. It is a new generation of mathematical algorithms that run on our current computers, your laptop, your phone, but are based on mathematical problems that even a quantum computer cannot solve easily. We are looking for math problems that are hard for both classical and quantum machines. The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has been running a global competition since 2016 to find these algorithms. They recently announced the first batch of standards. The most prominent among them rely on a concept called lattice-based cryptography. Let's try a deep dive analogy. The lattice problem. Imagine a massive, multi-dimensional grid of dots, like a graph paper that extends into 500 different dimensions. This is a lattice. The vector. I pick a point on a grid intersection. The noise. Then, I move that point slightly off the intersection, adding noise or error to its location. The challenge. I give you this noisy point and ask you, which original intersection is this point closest to? In 2 dimensions, on a flat piece of paper, this is easy. You just look at it. But in 500 or 1,000 dimensions, calculating the closest vector becomes a geometric nightmare. Even a quantum computer, which is great at finding periods and factors, like an RSA, struggles immensely with this geometric chaos. It cannot easily flood this maze because the maze is unstructured and noisy. This is the heart of CRYSTALS-Kyber, the algorithm recently selected by NIST for general encryption. It uses this learning with errors problem over lattices. It's efficient, it's fast, and it creates a lock that quantum keys cannot fit. Now that we understand the math, how do we actually install this into the internet? We can't just flip a switch. This brings us to the strategy of crypto agility and hybrid schemes. Imagine you are building a bridge. You know the old steel, RSA, might rot in 10 years, and you have a new supermaterial, lattice cryptography. But the new material hasn't been tested for decades like the steel has. Do you build a bridge only with the new material? No, that's risky. What if there's a hidden flaw we haven't found yet? The hybrid approach is the industry standard right now. We encrypt the data twice. First, we wrap it in the classic RSA and ECC layer, the old steel. Then, we wrap that inside the new quantum-safe layer, the new material. To break this message, an attacker needs to break both. If a classical computer attacks, the RSA layer holds. If a quantum computer attacks, the lattice layer holds. Real-world example. Let's look at Apple's iMessage. Recently, Apple introduced PQ3, a groundbreaking cryptographic protocol. It is the first messaging protocol to reach level 3 security. When you send an iMessage now, it doesn't just use one key. It creates a rekeying mechanism. Even if a quantum computer steals a key later, it can't read your past messages because the keys are constantly changing using post-quantum algorithms, specifically Kyber. Google Chrome is doing the same. If you're using the latest version of Chrome to access Google services, you are likely already using a hybrid key exchange combining X25519, classical, and Kyber 768, quantum safe. This is what crypto agility means, designing our systems so that if one algorithm fails, we can swap it out for another without rebuilding the whole internet. We are making progress, but the road ahead is bumpy. Let's analyze the hurdles. Performance. Lattice-based keys are much larger than RSA keys. RSA key, tiny, imagine a house key. Lattice key, large, imagine a large stone tablet. Sending these large keys back and forth takes more bandwidth. For a high-speed fiber connection, it's fine. For a tiny IoT sensor in a smart fridge or a pacemaker, this is a massive engineering challenge. Implementation errors. The math might be perfect, but the code written by humans might be buggy. Historically, most hacks don't break the math. They break the sloppy implementation of the math. Rushing to implement complex lattice cryptography could introduce new, non-quantum vulnerabilities. Side-channel attacks. Researchers have already found that by measuring the power consumption of a computer chip while it runs these new algorithms, they might be able to guess the key. This means we need better hardware, not just better software. To wrap up, I want you to take away 3 core concepts from today's lecture. The threat is real. Harvest now. Decrypt later means the deadline to act is yesterday. The math is different. We are moving from factoring numbers, RSA, to solving geometric problems in multidimensional grids. The strategy is hybrid. We are not abandoning the old ways yet. We are layering the new protection on top. As future developers, security analysts, and tech leaders, your responsibility is to ensure the systems you build today are quantum ready. Do not hard-code encryption. Build systems that are agile. The quantum era promises to solve incurable diseases and optimize climate solutions. But to enjoy those benefits, we must first ensure that the key to that future doesn't unlock our past secrets. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next video.